Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in the state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent, it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter, it's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much-needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society.
Ghetto, run, keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just try and I say watch a man around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I she never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, we gonna bust down Babylon walls. Prepare and read the way. Prepare and read the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down, war and cry. Fight down, me say Rastafari. War and cry and do that righteousness. And we love I will love Jaja.
Jah
I will love Jaja.
Jah Rastafari, save all people.
Yeah, we love Jaja. We love Jaja.
Jah
We love Jaja.
Jah Rastafari, save all people.
Put time away again. Listen.
Yeah.
Just as I and I say, watch a man, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel. I should never hold thy peace while we penalize. Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way. Prepare the way for Jah Rastafari. Fight down war and
Fight down war and fight.
Rastafari, war and crime, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah.
Jah
And we love Jah.
Jah Rastafari, preserve all.
And we love Jah. Me love Jah.
Jah
Me love Jah.
Jah Rastafari, preserve all.
Me love Jah.
Jah Rastafari,
Jah Rastafari. Jah
Rastafari.
Yeah, the next song is going to be the last song for tonight. And then DJ Twink.
Good evening and welcome to a continuation of UC on Life Support, a series of exposure showing how friendship, bad governance, cronyism, and corruption have destroyed healthcare in our country. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good evening. Welcome, one and all. Thank you for joining us this evening. Like and share the live, please. In keeping with Dr. Dawes' press conference this morning, we're going to continue to advance Dr. Dawes' exposure of the devastation in our healthcare. As to why these things are not major news, still not sure why, but what is unfolding in our country's healthcare is an open crisis, a crisis that is causing deaths, a crisis that is preventing recovery. We are not outraged, though, of the corruption, the fraud, the lack of governance, and everything that plagues University Hospital and the Ministry of Health and healthcare in general across Jamaica. This is something that ought to be highlighted. And I want to continue to say congratulations to Dr. Dawes for keeping in tune. You have been on this before the general election. You have been vindicated by the Auditor General's report. And you continue to put out a series of exposure showing the dangers to our lives in our hospital, showing how friendship destroyed our healthcare, showing how professionals are stealing from babies, from sick babies. mm, how they are stealing from sick babies, how they have run down our health care. So even doctor like Dr. Brady, who regularly come to Jamaica for the last 20 years to give their services, were unable to conduct their usual amount of surgery because our health system has been completely and utterly run down, shambolic, shambolic system we are operating in. Our healthcare, as it stands, is not really fit for purpose. Andrew Holness in 2015, healthcare was something that Andrew Holness campaigned on rigorously. Healthcare was what Andrew campaigned on rigorously. And Dr. Dawes end today's session with this. But we're going to start today's session with this. But there's one thing about using the Prime Minister's very own words against him. Another thing, though, is when you're using the person's word and the person has no recollection or no shame. In our Prime Minister's case, one might argue the latter. Hmm?
We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who has openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commissioner of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that Minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the Minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing, not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction to it.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society are all agree that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government.
Andrew Holness refused to sit in Parliament with you all until you have to force. In the Azan case, he refused to sit until he was forced out. Why the PNP can't do the same thing now? PNP, why can't you all do the same thing now? Refuse to partake in Andrew legislative framework until Tufton is being removed. Andrew Holness have you removed when you were in government. Andrew Holness have you removed your people through that rebellious manner. Now let's remind us of how Andrew told us why it is or healthcare has become where it is under 10 years continuing of his regime.
Government don't manage the economy well, your hospital get bad, your road get bad, your water supply get bad. Government don't manage the economy well, your hospital get bad, your road get bad, your water supply get bad.
Not my word. Andrew says, when government doesn't manage the economy well, your road get bad, your hospital get bad, light get bad, water get bad. In context to this, Prime Minister, explain to us what is the problem that is going on at UWI. What is the problem that is going on at University Hospital? We're going to listen to the full press conference. And then when we come back on the other side, of course, we're asking for Tufton resignation. We're going to continue to ask for the immediate resignation of Christopher Tufton. We're asking that all Jamaicans phone their MP, WhatsApp your MP, demand the resignation of Christopher Tufton. If you care about yourself, if you care about your health, if you care about the health of the future generation, all of us must demand Christopher Tufton resignation. Christopher Tufton continued judgment at the Ministry of Health will only kill more of us. Christopher Tufton's continuous job at the Ministry of Health will only kill more of us. We cannot continue with Christopher Tufton. It is for all of us as Jamaicans to join in this cry. Dr. Dawes has been doing a great job of exposing the dereliccy of Chris Tufton running off healthcare in our country. You will want to ask yourself the question, what on earth does Tufton has an Andrew Holness? Why Andrew Holness cannot remove Christopher Tufton? Or have they signed a pact on the people of Jamaica's life and pocket? I've never seen another minister run raid through from scandal to scandal, from corruption to corruption, from financial embezzlement to financial embezzlement. And it's like it's a rock solid politician. I mean, Christopherton has always been crooked. It's why Christopherton lost his seat in Southwest St. Elizabeth, because of his crookedness. Anyway, we'll go to the press conference.
Has joined you this morning because Jamaica's health
The audio will soon
system
come up. It
is in
was low at the
crisis.
start.
Our premier teaching hospital, the University Hospital of the West Indies, is in a national health crisis. This health crisis is threatening patient care, staff morale, and public trust. This crisis, though, did not come up overnight. It didn't happen by chance. It is a direct result of governance failure and political interference. Today, we are going to place the facts before the country, exposing the human cost, the cost on the staff, and the welfare of those who have to interface with this system. Our leader of the opposition, Mark Goldin, will play for you play by play what has happened since this crisis began unfolding. After which, Dr. Dawes will take you with the facts, and you then will have to make the decisions. We'll take your question after the break when we come back.
Good morning. I'll go first. So many have been wondering, why did we take so long to do a press conference? And it's a simple reason. After every scandal that he has faced, the Minister of Health has gone on a cross-country tour and gone on every talk show and produce a lot of news to drown out whatever it is that we're bringing attention to. And as a result of that, he has been able to escape time and time again, scandal after scandal. So we decided to do things a little bit different. So we brought things out in the media in a creative way, and then we allowed the minister to do his usual tours. And you would have seen over the last few days that he has gone to most of the hospitals. There have been a lot of sound bites, a lot of stories. He has been on a lot of talk shows. And all of this has served to kill the
Christoph Tanala Wall contact now. Them secure land at Portmore over Bernard Lodge should build Portmore Hospital. This is the role play Christoph Tan and Fly Green try to pull a wool over with eye in a today's world. Hey, Jamaica people, sometimes me want elbow on you know. Me want elbow on the Jamaica people. But me want poke my hand in the PNP them eye first.
discourse of what is happening at the university hospital. So now that he has done what he usually does, we are now going to have the press conference that so many are dying for. So we want to bring back the attention to the University Hospital of the West Indies this morning. And the reason why we have to bring back the attention to the University Hospital of the West Indies is because it is the premier teaching hospital in the Caribbean. So it's not just a regular hospital where you go and get treatment. This is where doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, lab techs, many healthcare workers are trained. And if the university hospital loses its accreditation, it can impact on healthcare across the region. Not only does it serve as a teaching hospital, and it is in danger of losing its accreditation, and as a result affecting the University of the West Indies, but it sees about 10% of the Jamaican population every year, and it is a type A referral hospital. So we have to preserve the University Hospital of the West Indies. And what has been happening, especially over the last few years, is that the hospital is almost in a death spiral because of poor governance. Now, the minister has repeatedly distanced himself from what is happening at the university hospital. And he has basically cast blame on the departmental heads. We cannot allow this to happen another time. We cannot allow the deflection and the distraction to allow it's far to take away from the substantive issues. We have to stop it now because the consequences are too great. When the former board tried to enact reforms, they saw evidence of fraud, they saw procurement irregularities, and they sought to correct them. They had a CEO brought in after an exhaustive process where they had over 30 applicants. That CEO was a professional who was supposed to bring forward the reforms at the university hospital. The acting CEO of the time was not shortlisted. He was not deemed to be qualified for the job. But then the minister directly intervened and the board was dissolved. A new board was formed. The CEO who was selected to oversee the reforms at the university hospital had gone back by because they thought that they were going to work in a hostile environment. And who did this new board select to be the CEO? The same acting CEO who was not qualified for the job, according to the HR panel. This is the same CEO who has overseen the scandal that has plagued the University of the West Indies that we're seeing in the Auditor General's report. Now, when a minister steps in and fires a board who is trying to enact reforms and puts in place somebody who presides over massive mismanagement leading to this scandal that we're seeing today, he has to accept some responsibility. Because in firing the board and putting in place what some may say is who he favors, he has given his imprimatur on the governance structure of the university hospital. And then those who he favors, they go around acting, in the words of the staff, like absolute monarchs. And this has led to an HR crisis at the university hospital where disaffected staff have written letters of complaints, where they've had meetings where the notes have been sent to the board, crying out for change. They have highlighted procurement issues, irregularities. They have been sidelined from the process. There has been a mismatch between what they need to function properly and the needs of the senior management of the university hospital, leading to dysfunctional equipment and services not being able to attend to patients because there has been a reliance on infrastructural developments rather than giving them the tools they need to work with. We have to mention, of course, the Sagicor Foundation's donation to the hospital. And it is being spun as if we are attacking a private sector entity. No, we're not. We feel sorry for Sagicor because Sagicor had all good intentions to help the pediatric unit at the university hospital. The pediatricians were very involved in the Sagicor Foundation's efforts to raise the funds. But then Sagicor was misled, hoodwinked, taken for a ride by senior managers at the university hospital who told them that the pediatric department had bought into the reallocation of the resources. So instead of the $75 million going towards the pediatric ward that it was initially earmarked for, it went towards a CT scanner purchase. And the poor organization, not knowing what was going on, went along with it. The pediatricians were basically told by some managers that they are not getting the money. The money is going to be used elsewhere and they have no say in the matter. In their words, they feel like they were used. And it's situations like this that has led to low staff morale and has led to poor service at the University Hospital of the West Indies. And if it continues this way, you're going to see the death of a regional institution. Now, when you speak about reforms, immediately after the tabling of the Auditor General's report, when it became public, the minister announced a panel to look into the operations of the hospital and what exactly could have been done to prevent this scandal from unfolding. And it seems genuine when you look at it, that we're seeing the report coming out and then the minister taking decisive action less than 24 hours later. But they knew about the report from last year. Why wasn't this panel announced last year? Because the panel is only to serve as a distraction for you to wait 4 months, lose interest, and then you would move on to another scandal somewhere else, maybe Cornwall Regional, and then this matter would die a slow and painful death. But the minister did not need to empanel another set of individuals to look into the findings of the Auditor General report. In fact, there was already an investigative report, and this was submitted to the board from November last year. And this investigative report looked into the Auditor General's report, and it found evidence of similar things: a lack of procurement plans, lack of documented controls, repeated internal audit warnings, fragmented governance structures, insufficient staffing. And when it went through department by department to show that the procurement department had staff that were not trained in procurement, there's a lack of digitization, and there was no documentation of internal controls. The finance department was weak. The internal audit department, they repeatedly flagged issues, but no action taken by management or the audit committee. And of course, they had insufficient staffing and insufficient space to perform their duties. You look again at system-wide governance failures. Audit committee not performing its statutory role, CEO and senior directors not enforcing internal audit recommendations, no coordination between internal audit and risk management, and of course, again, insufficient digitization. The office of the CEO was flagged repeatedly for breaches. The CEO, reading from the internal audit, the internal investigative report, the CEO confirms ultimate responsibility for operational decisions, including procurement approvals. We know where the buck stops, and we know who allowed the buck to stop there. So we do have not just the findings, but we have the recommendations. So I don't know what this new panel is going to add when this investigative committee has already said that we should establish board-approved annual strategic procurement plans. We should have digital procurement. We should have immediate training and certification of all procurement staff, increased staffing, and of course, strengthening the audit committees. It's all here. It's all here. There's no reason to have another panel. Is the minister aware of this investigative report? And if he is aware of the investigative report, why was this not made public? And why is he creating another panel instead of insisting on these changes? Again, it speaks to PR over the need and the political will for reforms at the university hospital. I'm going to close by reading something. In spite of everything that's happened, repeatedly, scandal after scandal that have been brushed away by an untouchable minister with his untouchable servants, we have to take firm action in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence, and in which the institutions of the society are all agreed that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith, and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. These are not my words. These are the words of Dr. Andrew Holness when he was leader of the opposition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dawes. I come to this matter as somebody who was born and grew up on the university campus. My father served at the University Hospital of the West Indies for over 40 years to the date of his death. And as a youngster, I used to frequently visit Ward 17, which was the ward that he headed, on Christmas Day, giving out presents, etc. So when I see this cherished institution, which was the leading light of the University of the West Indies as a tertiary institution, and had built a reputation of excellence over many years, coming to this point, this very low point, where the Auditor General has exposed system failures, governance weaknesses, malfeasance, procurement violations, and where anecdotally one hears on a regular basis the dire situation faced by people who come to the hospital and need medical care. It really is a travesty, and it pains my heart as somebody who has this long-standing familial connection with the institution. This is a government that doesn't hold its leaders to account. There's no accountability within the Andrew Holness administration. We have a Minister of Health who has gone from one scandal, one massive failing to the next. From the Cornwall Regional Hospital debacle, still unresolved, the dead babies situation, and there's no accountability. And this situation at the University Hospital is one that he cannot wash his hands of. The reason being that he was responsible for disbanding the board of the hospital that had commenced a process of getting the systems, the governance, and the management of the hospital into a state of good order. They had commenced, most importantly, a CEO recruitment process. And that was a professional and transparent global search for a suitably qualified and experienced person to take over as the chief executive officer of the hospital. And a firm that was experienced with Government of Jamaica protocols, received over 40 applications, shortlisted 6 qualified candidates, and the board's Human Resources Subcommittee unanimously selected a top candidate who happened to be from overseas. That board also implemented successfully long-stalled hospital information management systems that have been inactive since 2017. And they had revived that in 2022, 2023, and were getting that on track. And an internal audit had uncovered irregularities in contract awards and purchasing, and the board detected suspected fraud in the payroll department, and that had led to arrests. And the board initiated measures to recover over 30% of potential billing revenue that was being written off or uncollected before their tenure. This was a board that was working. This was a board that was seeking to address deep structural problems in the governance and management of the hospital. The account of the then chairman of the board that was dismissed, I think, in December 2023, speaks to the selected CEO candidate having withdrawn due to unwarranted pushback from elements that were opposed to this positive change. Prevention of the automatic permanent appointment of the acting CEO. Seeking to do that, the board voted to appoint another senior director as acting CEO because they were faced with a situation where the chosen person was effectively driven out. And they did not want to return to the status quo, which they were seeking to move away from in a positive direction. And that is when the minister intervened, overturned that board decision, insisting that the former acting CEO remain and that the search for a new manager, new CEO be restarted. The then chairman resigned on December 4th in the face of this interference, stating that the situation he had found himself in was untenable. And the minister then dissolved the entire board and appointed a new one. That is the context in which this Auditor General's report must be seen. This Auditor General's report that has uncovered numerous serious failings in governance, procurement, and general management. It has happened under the watch of this minister, a minister who has interfered in an attempt, a legitimate and bona fide attempt by a previous board to rectify the situation. Most importantly, from going through a process to recruit a suitable and qualified person to take over the day-to-day responsibility of Chief Executive Officer, a process that was thwarted and the status quo was allowed to remain, and we see where we are now in a mess. The buck stops with the minister. The University Hospital is too important to Jamaica's national development for this to be allowed to go with no one being held accountable. It is just another incident in the litany of malfeasance, of corruption, of nepotism, which has been a feature of the Andrew Holness government for the last 10 plus years. And although the frequency of these incidents is such that people tend to become immune to them, it is our responsibility as the opposition to bring it to the attention of the people of Jamaica and to frame it in the appropriate context so that people can recognize the dangers of allowing these things to go unchecked without proper accountability for those whose responsibility it is to prevent these things from happening or to take the right steps to move forward and solve them. And that is why we call this press conference today. Thank you.
Now, there you have it. If you have questions and you're in the room, please indicate by raising your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Please say your name and the news agency you represent. If you are online via Zoom platform, please use the raised hand icon. We will acknowledge you. If you wish to speak, you'll be acknowledged and you'll be permitted to go ahead, or we can read a message and question for you if you put it in the chat.
Good morning. My name is Nakinski Robinson. I'm from TVJ News. My question is for the opposition leader. Mr. Golding, the medical company owned by the party's chairman for Region 3 and MP for East Central St. Andrew, Dennis Gordon, has been linked to benefiting from the unlawful tax cuts at the University Hospital. Now, in light of your tough stance against corruption, how are you treating with this matter?
At this point, the only formal investigative report we have is the Auditor General's report. And that report does not name any specific company as being involved in anything. It points out that certain companies appear to have received certain benefits and raises real concerns about that. And when those matters are formally investigated, the chips will have to fall where they lie. But at this juncture, I'm not prepared to talk about any specific company because none has been named in any official report. And all you're going on is things that have been said by certain media houses. And I don't want to engage in that.
Follow up to that question, Mr. Golding. Siobhan Campbell from Nationwide News. The matter raised by my colleague, have you actually raised it with the chairman of Region 3, that's Dennis Gordon? Has he given you an explanation or an answer regarding the allegations raised?
First of all, I just want to wish your CEO, I assume he's your CEO, your leader in Nationwide, a speedy recovery from his recent health challenge. I hope he recovers well and quickly. And in terms of your question, I've had discussions with the person to whom you referred. Those discussions are not matters that I would disclose the details of. Suffice to say, he knows my position because my position is not new. And he agrees with my position that, chips must fall where they lie if there's anything in any kind of allegation. But at this juncture, he has maintained that he has done nothing wrong. And I have no reason to doubt that because I haven't seen any official investigation, any official report suggesting otherwise. And I'm not prepared to engage in any speculative chase after any individual, which is just based on rumor or based on conjecture or based on information, the source of which we have no knowledge of.
Recognizing Zara Burton online, please unmute and go ahead with your question.
Zara questions are always long, but they might not pick it up. But we say press along, scenes, press along.
Ms. Burton, if there has been any instance of taxes or duties that are properly payable having not been collected because of the way in which things were done, and those things were an improper situation, then those taxes should be collected and whatever sanctions are appropriate should be imposed. I really have nothing further to say on it than that.
It would be good to hear Zara's question, though. They need to set up the Zoom link better so we can hear the question coming from the Zoom journalists then. But it's not a surprise. Nobody seemed to really be concerned of all the exposures coming out of this report. Of course, it is important to know who is on the tax fraud violation. I have been saying it's Dennis Gordon from day one. Mark Golden. Hold on.
Okay, Zara, thank you so much for that. As the leader of the opposition said earlier, we are not in any position to confirm or deny or substantiate anything that has been said by a particular media house about this topic. All we have is what the Auditor General has put on the table. The Auditor General's document has not named the company you sought to name just now, we would not be irresponsible to bring information and speculation to the table right now without further, because that is injurious to all parties involved. As the leader said, his principle and the principle of the People's National Party is that the chips will fall where they lie. All parties are aware of this position. Please go ahead with your question, Siobhan.
Yes, unless there's more questions regarding this matter, I did make a promise to my listeners that I would ask this the next time I had an opportunity, so I bring it here. We're still in the recovery phase from Hurricane Melissa. The People's National Party has courted donations from individuals on behalf of that effort. Is it the intention of the opposition to make available to the public what has been collected in terms of the quantum and what that sum has been used for in the spirit of accountability?
Well, the People's National Party has always been very transparent and open with our financial accounting. Annually, that is published, audited financials, and I'm certain that this will form part of that process. In the meantime, we urge the government to be transparent and candid and to tell the nation what they've done with the millions they've raised in the name of Jamaica to build back constituencies such as South St. James. We're still waiting to get some of that.
So, yes, we have put in place a structure. We created a new structure after Melissa with a national disaster risk management committee within the party. There's a chairman who is Fitz Jackson. There's a projects director who is the treasurer of the party, Senator Keisha Anderson. And part of their mandate is to ensure that there's full accountability and accounting for any relief that is administered through the party. So those reports will be prepared and will be made available in the appropriate channels. What I would say is that what we have heard is that there have been many billions of dollars of emergency procurement by the government. Emergency procurement means that there is no proper tendering and you don't know whether you're getting value for money. Now, I'm not saying that the circumstances didn't warrant using that procurement methodology. What I am saying is that the accountability for those resources becomes all the more critical. And we don't know what mechanism the government is going to provide to assure the public that those resources have received value for money. I remember arriving in Black River a few days after Melissa, and I saw a member of parliament, not from St. Elizabeth, on a street corner. And when I asked, I was told trucks were being used for the cleanup. So there you go. From the day one almost, the potential for nepotism, the potential for persons getting the benefit of their inside connections was being manifest. And so I feel that this is very important and that I ask the media to ensure that they hold or try their best to hold those who are responsible for these huge resources being expended are held accountable for how it's being done. Similarly, in relation to the university hospital matter, I realize that the media is fixating on the allegation made by one media house. But when you look at the report, there are many important issues in that report that need to be addressed and should not be swept under the carpet. There are multiple players involved, and it's important that we don't abandon any kind of balance in how we deal with this thing and focus on what is actually before us from a credible source. And the only credible source presently having provided any information to the public on this is the Auditor General through her report. And to the extent that she has findings in there that warrant further investigation, I expect those further investigations to be done by the appropriate authorities. And when they make their findings, we will address them. But at this point, we're not proceeding on the basis of speculation, character assassination, or anything of that nature. As I said, I have spoken to the persons involved. They have given me certain assurances, and at this juncture, I'm waiting to see how the matter develops in light of the report that we have, which is the Auditor General's report.
Recognizing Janella Perseus. Please unmute and go ahead.
A persecution we must bear. Child and cross is in our way. Hmm? Good evening and welcome to a country where journalists have lost context, where journalists have lost understanding, where journalists no longer hear what was said, where journalists no longer understand what was said. Good evening and welcome to a country where journalists turns up with an agenda. Good evening and welcome to the chump journalist. You know, the journalist who doesn't play by the rules but by how they think when they get up in the morning. I've never seen such a brouhaha. Huh? When you talk about brouhaha, this level of questioning is what brouhaha means.
All right, so I'll take the first and the third, and the party leader will speak to the issue regarding the permanent secretary. So I'll say again what has been said by Mr. Golding and that I repeated. Mr. Golding had conversations with the named individual. He was given certain assurances. Mr. Golding also conveyed.
Right. There's a way in which they're trying to pin down Mr. Golden. You stupid motherfuckers. You should realize by now you're not going to get the answer that you need. You're all here on a nationwide agenda, on a JLP agenda. When we say journalists are cocksuckers, butt scratchers, boot lickers, and pocket pickers, it is playing out right in front of you at high speed. It is playing out in front of you at high speed. They're not able to drive per local road.
To the member in question that the party's position is, as is Mr. Golding's, that the chips will fall where they lie. With respect to the third question, today we are discussing a national health crisis that has the potential to derail the health conditions of many mothers, children, lots of people who are sick and needing health care. We wish to focus this discussion on that topic.
Don't you want to cuss bad word Jamaica? When you listen to all of what was said, when you listen to all the information that came out of the 5 episode from Dr. Dawes, and they're focusing on Dennis Gordon alone, when a health ministry is crumbling, the major teaching hospital for the Caribbean is flat on its face. Corruption, lack of transparency, bad management, nepotism, cronyism, financial misappropriation, financial embezzlement, and downright crime running up the organization. Nobody in journalist land is aware of what is going on. When you're not frightened, me frightened. Me never know they could have show up there in color. So Lord, I want cuss. So when get every day, when get up and in our back, like a swallow in a junk back. Vloggers. Oh, at the last one, the narrative. You all have lost the information war, and thereby the government buying out for use, as we need to stop calling you all journalists and call them the government ventriloquists. We need to stop calling these mother heifers journalists. Type it in the chat. Government ventriloquists. I can't even spell the word ventriloquists. Government ventriloquists. That's what they are. What else do you see? And what else do you? Even Zara Burton, even or respected and rated Zara Burton? Kiss me, Fanny.
Will, however, allow Mr. Golding to speak about the permanent secretary issue since you've raised that, but we want to refocus to the main issue. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Janella, your first question was already answered. I don't see the need to repeat what I said before. In terms of where the chips lie means, that would depend on what the chips are. I can't speculate at this point as to what may or may not arise. On the third question, I'm here, I'm doing the party's work, and we're going through a process of appraisal and making the necessary organizational decisions so that we will get past the line next time. We were very close last time. If you add up the 4 seats that we needed to form government, and the total margin of adding up all 4 seats between the parties was 1,097 votes. That's how close this election was. So we have a lot to be encouraged by, and we're going to be doing the necessary things that we need to do to make sure that next time.
When George Wright, I have the breakdown where there. Me don't know if I hit Ngangang in a hospital. Because when George Wright have the breakdown pan nationwide where there, George Wright say, politician pay we. George Wright said the gunman them were politician used to pay. Politician not have to pay gunman anymore. Politician transfer their influence through them pay vloggers. Hey, Cliff Hughes. Cliff Hughes. All upon with hospital bed. All upon your hospital bed where you send the bailiff, Cliff Hughes. Stiff bemused. All upon your hospital bed. Jamaica. They couldn't do see that. They couldn't take time with this. No. Fan we sooner sell. Fan we sooner open no crutches in a coronation market and a lap on a tail or on a bed over. In a coronation, me never saw no do it so plain before. I want cuss. Me never saw no do it so plain before. Almighty and everlasting God. Dr. Tufton dead. Dr. Tufton fall off at the edge of the earth. The untrained, unqualified chief executive fall off at the edge of the earth. Carl Bruce fall off at the edge of the earth. Listen here. You're not frightened? Talk it truth. Visit journalists really come in a public and let themselves down like this. Almighty God will not give we press past them. Make we get to go in a press conference, go ask question. Whoa, what a shame. Look what journalists come down to. Journalists can't ask for government, no one them to ask. Journalists come in a press conference with government question. Government come in a press, journalists, government gently come in a press conference with government agenda. Anybody here saying go so yet? Saw me a seat. Me know them. Me know them fake, you know. Me know them lie. Me know them sell. Me know them sell. Me never know say they never go wait till the light turn off. Me think only they go wait till the light turn off. Right under the street light. Good God Almighty. Uno could have hold out the hunger. Uno could have hold out the hunger. A press conference on a national health crisis in our country. Not one question concerning national health crisis. And when me tell you, say we depend we own, we don't think fair because me a drink mad puts piss by the gallon. We don't say everybody gang up on we. The tax fraud and a Dennis Gardner alone benefit. Dwayne Simmet benefit too. Donovan Williams benefit too. Eh? So why is it that we don't have a zoom in focus on Dennis Garden? Of course, we want to explore all of them because we start calling for Dennis Garden name from day one. Coming in on nobody's pocket. But to see how Tufton run down with healthcare, and none of the ventriloquists that came to the press conference asked one question concerning the killing machine in our country. Me want cuss tonight, me want cuss, but me not cuss. Because we feel celebrate the end of journalism in our country and the era of government ventriloquism. What a backside of Papa where? No, sir. What them you call judgment?
Round. We cross the tape first. In terms of the second issue, my concern is that the permanent secretary in a ministry is a very senior position in the civil service. That person is the administrative head of the ministry. It's a permanent secretary. It's a permanent position that lasts for the career of that individual normally, once they're appointed, the rest of their career. And our tradition and our expectation is that the persons who hold those positions are not politically connected, are not known to have any kind of political affiliation or connection, because they have to serve successive administrations and must command the trust and confidence of the government of the day, which will change from time to time in a democracy such as ours. And that is the reason why I objected to this particular appointment. I have nothing against the individual concerned. Indeed, I've had quite cordial and productive dealings with her over the years as an MP when she was in her former position. It's nothing to do with her as an individual. It's the principle of this which is important. And we mustn't allow our principles to just slide away. At the end of the day, we're just governed entirely by opportunism and what suits the power interests of those who hold power. We must protect the democracy that we have and not take it for granted. Surely international events show the importance of that. And that is why I said what I said in relation to that specific appointment.
All right. We want to thank the members of the media who took the time to join us today. We hope that you'll be able to telegraph to the public the issues that were raised today by Dr. Dawes and the leader of the opposition. These are issues of national importance, and we hope that they will be given the time to be ventilated in a proper space. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
The only possible way to tackle labor rights is to fight like a mad woman. Come out in a multicolored wig with your jaws over your pants, with your brassiere pinned back and front, and rub fire coal all over your teeth. Them is the only way. You have to tackle labor right in a dot. If you not tackle labor right in a dot, it don't make no sense. Hag and hag, and you can't hold hag and rub hag pan tree. You can't rub hag pan tree. You have to rub hag in a wet mud. That's what journalism, our government, ventriloquism have just shown us. Chinua Achebe says things fall apart. Journalism in our country has fallen apart. In the first coming of Donald Trump, Donald Trump told us they were fake news. They could have never been more faker than today. Today is what fake news was. I can't believe that this happened. Of course, me expect on to pursue one per war hit civil. Not one. Not one. TVJ nationwide. 18 degrees north. Nobody. Hello. Hey, yes, you over there. Yes, touch her on her shoulder. Touch him on his shoulder. Are you still there? Were you hearing? Did you heard what we heard? No, sir. They never did it. They couldn't did it. Me shame, you know? Me shame, cause tomorrow morning, when I go come a road, come call on yourself journalists. But me I beg on to walk and tell every vlogger said they are no longer journalists, they are government ventriloquists. Because Tufton packed a lunch kit. Tufton packed a lunch kit and put liquor book in a them khaki rucksack. I remember the days that when the millionaire were use the leftover khaki and make one rucksack for it. And Tufton put a liquor book in there. Come they here and send them off. What a disgrace. This is not even a shame anymore. This past shame. This past shame. So we don't find out. We don't find out. Because to say, if every journalist, if every government, if every ventriloquist in a Jamaica decides say, at the government side with the pan, how much you get paid, Zara? We know nationwide the pan budget, TVJ the pan budget. Zara, how much you get paid? I mean, couldn't you all have the opportunity to ask the same question twice? Zara Burton, you asked the same question twice. TVJ, Janella Precious, you asked the same question twice. Lady Siobhan, I'll know me not in nationwide talk about accountability for the billions and gazillions, not even we're missing when they walk and beg on behalf of the people them were still a role in adult. What a disgrace in our country. Look where it get to in a Jamaica. These what they so-called call vloggers, which I'm included, though not accepting of the berated phrase. We must rejoice. We must rejoice. The death of Lion's story in our country. We must rejoice. There was a time, you see, when people listen to them, look up to them, believe in their information. We didn't have to do anything to pull them down. They pull themselves down by their doings. And because they have lost the war, the information war, they have joined force with a government who is unable to defend itself from the plethora of corruption that regularly leak from SIF. Because this government corruption just continue drain, so you know. No, sir. What a disgrace tonight. This is the same thing where we go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere, that an era has ended in our country. Unbiased reporting, unbiased questioning have come to a sudden death in our country. If one never believes of the death of so-called journalism in our country, we can't keep night now. Hmm? We're going to keep candlelight. Hmm? Who is going to keep candlelight with journalism in our country? What a disgrace. What a disgrace. Look what we come down to. Hmm? When you have to jostle, pan yassle with the space. Even when you're not jostle with the pan yassle for space, someone can keep up with certain bloggers' number. Even when you're up in the government battle hole, because up there so dark, we still can't see the light. Because I make them a fool, yeah. Make such a big fool of themselves today, you know. I make these big fools have everybody asking questions of their behavior today. Because if it's not politicizing or political narrativing, journalists couldn't come to a press conference and not hear nothing we did say in the press conference. It's not real. It is not normal that journalists could come to a press conference and heard not one word of what was said in the press conference. Hmm? Is goons and I saw George Wright call we goons. George Wright said we are goons. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? The people who are being told you cannot ask any adverse questions of the government. You cannot say anything that will expose the government. You cannot say anything that will put the government in a bad light. We fit piss pan them when we see them. When we see them, we fit piss pan them and say we did thing at 3 them be. Because then just turn up there so. When we see them, we must piss pan them. You ever see dog or everything a piss and go piss pan something? When we see these people, we must piss pan them. Look pan who attack. George Wright and Cliff Hughes were in a tax embezzlement. Remember Cliff Hughes? People have to run with from your radio station when you take tax out of their money and they find out so you not paying any tax. Cliff Hughes, on your hospital bed we want with money. All of your graveside, Cliff Hughes, we a ball and a ball for with money. Cliff Hughes were registered with how much? $1 billion. With 1.2, I think a 1.2 billion. We're registered against your estate, Cliff Hughes. We have the tax document. So we're going to register it against your estate. So when I confirm that in our country, you understand? Because you're Huawei. And we're going to want your debt even out of your out of your estate. But nationwide don't surprise me because everybody knows a nationwide in a vlogging long time. Everybody knows a nationwide in a vlogging long time. What a jump down TVJ and Zara Burton. Zara Burton who have an international standard. Zara Burton, I know them pure Jamaica, you know. Zara Burton report for the International Media Organization Writers. And I think sometimes possibly AP Associated Press. Yeah, Writers and Associated Press, two of them. have a linkage together. Are you aware of that? Zara is an international journalist. Zara is not a put. So Zara Burton of all person today giving back Sikanovas. No, sir. Dr. Tufton threatened Zara. Dr. Tufton, how are you threatening Zara, say? Remember, you always a go at Zara. And to see meat pan Dr. Tufton bone and Zara no want a bite. Dr. Tufton, what you threatening Zara, say, sir? Remember, so no did shoot at one integrity man, you know. Dr. Tufton, or is it Tufton with the article? What you threatening Zara, say? Because Zara can't come. Zara can't see so much meat pan your bone, Dr. Tufton. I don't want a bite. Giving you and Zara track record. All this goes so. You not frightened, Jamaica? Me frightened. Me frightened. Me never know say everybody couldn't expose themselves in one room. They need to write up on the door that the room of exposure. Mark Golden them need to write up on the door that the room of exposure. Me frightened, you know? Me frightened and me shocked. So journalists left their ears a yard. Journalists put on government ears and government mouth. Come a press conference with me shock. Me literally frightened. Me literally couldn't believe say they don't hear nothing what Dr. Dawes say. Not one word. Me couldn't believe say they don't hear nothing about the CEO. Me couldn't believe say they don't hear nothing about the risk surrounding healthcare in Jamaica. And you don't believe it? Me don't think it goes so. Something can go so. You not sure say I'm not dream. Everybody at the same time. Then I saw Melissa money go on. No, man. No, sir. Melissa money go on terrible. Jesus Christ. And we don't get nothing. No way to go spin we roll upon this. only solution to what unfolded in front of us today is to either cuss and go on like it a coronation market or get into the usual anansi galangin. Jamaica, it can't get worse. We cannot be at a lower stage in this country. Sharon Powell, how you do long time. And then these people are talking about journalistic integrity. How does that word match up with today's action? Journalists, those who call themselves journalists, what we know to be government ventriloquists, must answer the question, what happened to journalism integrity? Because the actions of today's journalists, of TVJ, 18 Degree North, and the usual vloggers was disgraceful. 32 dead babies, 15,000 Jamaicans dying per year, a plethora of financial embezzlement, corruption, cronyism, the Manchester boys, the badgering and battering of staff by Carl Bruce, the incompetency of Carl Bruce and Ivor Crandon. Nothing. Kehem. But hear about it. All they say they are talk about and I read about and go on. Nobody. What a sad day for what they call journalism. If that what it is, that the nation ought to depend on as authority in news and in broadcasting, what a very, very sad day in Jamaica it was today when we witness the politicization of journalism in our country. It couldn't have dropped at a lower standard. No, you have all gone below the devil's feet. You have all gone below the devil's feet. Why do we become such a big problem? We really cannot stand up to the scrutiny. We cannot be honest and fair because government ventriloquism is about money, power, and sucking up to the government and be invited to the government press party on an annual basis and to have a seat at Cliff Hughes' Batty Party on the 31st of December on a yearly basis. Come in and see what else una do it for. The little money won't do it fine. If una admit at a bad care private ward a you, it a go suck out the little 2 pence. And if you will run down and lose its accreditation, we nurses and doctors them going to have to go train in another country. We couldn't give them full training and full qualification because we lose our accreditation. We're not at the standard anymore. So even if the money won't sell on yourself, on the benefit go foreign, go get foreign treatment. If Donald Trump allow you to come, because I love go to Miami for treatment. If Donald Trump allow you, money can't save life. Money can't buy dignity. Money can buy success. Money only buy things that are of necessity or things that allow you to show off on people. That's the only purpose of money. Other than buying the things that you want, need, or want to have as excess, it serves no, that piece of paper have no other value. Not even when they write upon it, it don't value. You gave it a value though. Hmm? And a it journalists sell out themselves a piece of dirty paper. A piece of dirty paper. And then no one come out here, come face it with we. And I walk with the front on the back part, on the forehead, where everybody a walk and paint in a hit. Hmm? And everybody a walk and stick finger or otherwise in a hit. Because this wasn't fair reporting today, may I add. There was nothing fair about today. I have no issue with Una asking question about Dennis Gordon. That is not the issue. The issue was after two speakers in the conference, in the press conference, you all heard nothing of what was said, but you took a particular zoom in to one person, to just the PNP that benefited, when two other labor benefited from the tax fraud. The tax exemption fraud benefited three companies, two for labor, one for PNP. And journalists, come on, so-called, government ventriloquists turn up at the press conference and only care about one of the three companies that benefit from the tax exemption fraud. What can go so? Hmm? If I know the government send no, if I know the government pay no, if Dr. Tufton Badman never sent catching, never put a gun to no head, what else was it? Me couldn't come disgrace on yourself in front of the whole world today. Hmm? And then Jamaica people, who don't like to rub up on yourself with international people, who don't love to judge on yourself against international people. One thing with Donald Trump, stupid as the motherfucker be, he will turn up and take question for the whole day because the bullshit love for both off and brag off. And he will take any question toward him, if he catch a war with you over it. But can you imagine a healthcare crisis in our country? And journalists turn up a press conference, a play government what's him call it? A play government blogger. And then tomorrow morning, when they get on the high horse, then talk about, you know, see why me can't have no respect for these people. You know, see why me can't have respect for people in power and authority. Hmm? Are you aware of the power of refusal? Do you know that one of your power is the power of refusal? And that power of refusal is one of the most powerful things to stand against the system. The refusal to stay silent, the refusal not to ask questions, the refusal to go along with what they say, the refusal to comply with bullshit, even when you know it's bullshit. Do you understand the power of refusal? Hmm? Because when we go with them calm and gentle, you know, they get to complete their agenda. When we refuse to comply, when we refuse to be ignorant, because that is one of the things that is plaguing us as a society in Jamaica. We are ignorant to all of the crimes that they hit us with. The day we start refuse to be ignorant, politician will behave differently. But because they can play on the ignorance, we can refuse to take handout from politicians. The power of refusal gives you even more power. But if you don't try it, you don't know. I will not comply with these people. If it's even my voice, I will use as a refusal. Anyway, you don't know where we are going, but the road where we're upon, it's not a good one. Oh. We are on our own. And that me I tell you no. Nobody no left to stand up for integrity in Jamaica. So me quick close shop. The only rule where we walk and follow. How far we go with them? Because we see everybody stop follow the rule. Where we wanna go with it? Marcus Garvey said, unite or perish. Unity is important, more important than following these people rule. You hear? Unity, our unity, and our refusal, especially collective refusal, will frighten the fuck out of these mother heifers. Thank you very much for being here tonight on Global TV. Now, let me say, I don't think I'm going to be back until Sunday. I'm going to be busy tomorrow and Saturday. So, I don't think I'm going to be back until Sunday, to be honest with you. Alrighty? Because I've got a lot to cover tomorrow and Saturday. So have yourself an amazing weekend and join us back on Sunday when we start all over again. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Have yourself an amazing weekend and spread the word of the death of not just gang, but journalism in our country. Good night from Global TV.
Too long in our little ghetto, run keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just as I and I as a watching man around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Day or night, we gonna bust down Babylon walls. Prepare every the way. Prepare every the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down war and crime. Fight down. Listen, Rastafari. War and crime. And do the righteousness. And we love. And we love Jaja. And we love Jaja. Save all people. And we love Jaja. We love Jaja. We love Jaja. Rastafari. Save all people. Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I as a watching man around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace while we penalize day or night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare every the way. Prepare we the way for Jah Rastafari. Fight down war and crime. Fight down war and crime. Rastafari, war and crime, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah. And we love Jah Rastafari. Preserve all. And we love Jah. Me love Jah Rastafari. Me love Jah Rastafari. Preserve all. Me love Jah Rastafari. Yeah, the next song is going to be the last song for tonight. And then DJ Twink.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.